Ramzan Pakistan, Ramzan Pakistan.
Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum to everybody who's tuned into PTV World. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into our Ramadan special transmission, which goes with the name of Ramadan Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, I happen to be Shahzad Hasan Khan, and with me I have my very learned and very knowledgeable colleague, and she happens to be Miss Hajra Sati. Hello Hajra, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How are you doing today?
Walaikum assalam. I'm good and thank you so much. I'm again humbled by your introduction. You know, I'm always humbled by your introduction.
But you truly deserve it, to be very honest. And I believe that this is something which everybody needs to do, rather with their colleagues or with their family members as well. And you know what, in relation to that, I have one more thing to say, and that is, and I have said it repeatedly, maybe on television, maybe on any other show I am hosting or I'm attending or I'm a guest, and what I do is that I would always refer to that one example, because one day what happened, so you know, I walked into a room, there were a couple of people sitting over there, and one would be like, hey, you know what, sir, your tie looks very nice. The other one was like, hey, your shoes look very nice. The other one was like, hey, you know what, the suit you're wearing looks very nice. And I was like, hey, why can't you just tell me that I look nice? And this is something which I would want to kind of contemplate on as well. And I want people to please make sure that you make this a habit, that if you're complimenting somebody, for example, if you are to compliment me about my waistcoat, rather say, hey, you know what, this waistcoat looks good on you, you know, rather than saying, yaar, waistcoat badi achhi hai. You know, I think that's better and makes the other person's day as well, and you really need to be honest with that. And in addition to that, God forbid, if, you know, somebody is trying to flatter or probably is trying to kind of give me that feeling that, hey, you know what, for example, if somebody kind of has some sort of business with me, you know, they would probably try to make me happy, you know. So you would always know the difference in between flattery and in between where the person is actually being authentic and it's truly a compliment as well. What do you have to say about that?
Right, Shahzad, I think that our culture values, you know, and dignifies the values of reservedness, right? So I would be very, you know, reserved and shy if I have to compliment, especially the opposite gender like that. But if I'm saying that you're wearing a nice waistcoat, it means I'm complimenting you because, you know, you have good aesthetic sense, that means.
All right, thank you very much for saying that. You know, because otherwise I would have never understood that you were complimenting my aesthetic sense as well. And one more thing, since, you know, you were very honest with your reply where you said that, you know, the replying to the opposite gender or probably complimenting them, you know, would make you feel shy. You know, I have this question. So, alhamdulillah, I've always made sure to have this habit, ladies and gentlemen, that whoever I come across, I will always say the salam first. You know, may it be the opposite gender or may it be the same gender as well. But what I have realized is that even, for example, if I'm going to my gym and if there's a lady coming out of the lift, you know, I would say my salam, but they would never reply. You know, so for example, if somebody whom you do not know at all is right in front of you and they say salam, would you say your salam?
I would say walaikum assalam, but in a very, you know, low tone, in a very reserved tone, you know, so the message would get across that,
even,
you know, I'm a shy
even I get through that as well, you know, because a lot of times this is something which I hear.
Because you never know the intention of, you know, other person. It's a good thing that, you know, you need to do
with salam, how can we judge intentions?
You know, you never know, you know, what the other person, because as I said, you know, that our culture respect the feeling of reservedness, and I do feel that it has, you know, some dignity to that, you know, if you feel reserved. So it's Ramadan, Shahzad, and of course it's a month where Holy Quran was revealed. And you know, every time I read this book, you know, it is so amazing that every time I get a new message, you know, that reverberates across me, that rejuvenates me, also, you know, shakes me to the core. Having said that, you know, I would like to share a quote about this book, which was written by Raza Aslan, who happens to write a book, No God But God, like, you know, which is said in the Kalama, La ilaha illallah, right? So he said that as a text, Quran is more than a foundation of Islamic religion. It is a source of Arabic grammar. It is Arabic what Homer is to Greek, what Chaucer is to English, a snapshot of an evolving language frozen forever in the time. You know.
And do you think there can be any other poet better than Allah Almighty Himself?
Of course.
And to be very honest, ladies and gentlemen, that's how the book, the Holy Book Quran is. And to be very honest, we certainly would love to talk about Ramadan and Quran in our first segment. But before we do that, I have a very important question. Because so I make sure that, you know, I eat healthy, I work out and I exercise, and I kind of, you know, share that with everybody, that everybody needs to kind of do that. So it is very imperative, it is of pivotal importance that we kind of know what we really need to eat in sahur. And it's because of the fact that a lot of times we do have a lot of parathas, chapatis, keema, and all sorts of curry and whatever is left from the yesterday's iftar. We're like, okay, just put it in and that's going to be all right. And what you do not realize is that in the middle of the day, you might just start feeling very thirsty just because of the fact that the type of food you have consumed. So what do you utilize, or probably what do you consume at sahur time?
Right, so I go with the paratha, all-time favorite of Pakistanis, and then I go with the cheese omelette. And then I drink 2 glasses of water. But I think these rosas are not that hard, as compared to the rosas of June and July, right?
True.
So I think
it works.
Yes, it works and it gives me energy and it gives me, satisfied.
Paratha will always give you energy.
I
mean, this
and
is
happiness
something,
too.
I think this is something which each and every one of us has realized. And even my trainer used to tell me that, hey sir, please make sure that you avoid paratha. And I was like, yeah, if you want me to lift weights, I can only do it after I eat parathas. I think that is just the mindset. But ladies and gentlemen, for healthy sahur or for healthy sari, I'm very sorry, for the healthy sahur, what we really need to do is that we really need to eat healthy, which makes sure that we ensuring that our health is going to be our top priority as well. But how can we do that is something which we are going to share with you. Please go ahead and check it out, what you really need to eat in Sehri. Let's go.
Ramadan is the holiest month in the entire year according to Islamic tradition. In this scorching heat, it's imperative to eat the right foods during Ramadan, especially at the time of Sehri. Sehri is a meal consumed every morning before the Fajr prayers. Eating the right foods for Sehri ensures that you are hydrated and nourished, and also gives you the energy to go without food during the day. According to nutritionists, Sehri is extremely important, especially when you are without food and water for about 12 hours. Not only should you include fluids in your diet, but also foods that keep you hydrated throughout the day. Here are a few reasons why you must not skip Sehri and tips to keep your energy levels up throughout the day. Set the table for Sehri yourself. Many people don't feel hungry early in the morning. If you feel the same way, set the table for Sehri yourself, as it may help stimulate hunger. Consume fiber-rich and high-carb foods. Don't stuff yourself just because you have to stay hungry the whole day. Instead, have fiber-rich and high-carb foods that will help you stay full throughout the day. Don't consume caffeinated drinks. Try not to consume caffeinated drinks like tea or coffee. Consume fruits. Fruits can help overcome the constant feeling of thirst throughout the day and keep you hydrated.
So now you've seen a very interesting, package on the how, you need to keep your rosas and on the nutrition value of the Ramadan. So as we were talking about Quran and Ramadan, and now we have a very esteemed guest with us, who has been since the start of the Ramadan, telling us about the importance of Quran and the importance of Islam, and that happens to be Imran Sandhu Saab. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for again coming to our show. Alhamdulillah.
Absolutely perfect. And sir, today obviously we've picked up on a very important topic, and we certainly want to share your knowledge with our viewers as well. We're not saying or referring to us as very knowledgeable as well. But before we do that, sir, obviously we certainly want to start our day today with Naate Kalam as well. So ladies and gentlemen, for that we're very lucky that we've been joined by Ms. Ali Haruni. Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Absolutely perfect. Aap kaise hain?
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for joining us. So what are you going to share with us?
एक नात रसूल मकबूल है, फेमस नसीदा आर्टिस्ट सैयद ज़बीब मसूद शाह जी, आप पेश करते हैं, मैं पेश करता हूँ। मदीने से बुलावा आ रहा है, 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 دل مجھ سے پہلے جا رہا ہے میرا دل مجھ سے پہلے جا رہا ہے اور یہ چکی سیدہ کی چل رہی ہے یہ چکی سیدہ کی چل رہی ہے زمانہ جتنا لنگر کھا رہا ہے زمانہ جتنا لنگر کھا رہا ہے مدینے سے بلاوا آ رہا ہے اور نواسوں کا وہ صدقہ بانٹتے ہیں نواسوں کا وہ صدقہ بانٹتے ہیں اور زمانہ ان کا صدقہ کھا رہا ہے زمانہ ان کا صدقہ کھا رہا ہے مدینے سے بلاوا آ رہا ہے یہاں مرضی نہیں چلتی کسی کی یہاں مرضی نہیں چلتی کسی کی مدینے والا ہی بلوا رہا ہے مدینے والا ہی بلوا رہا ہے مدینے سے بلاوا آ رہا ہے
یہاں مرضی نہیں چلتی کسی کی مدینے والا ہی بلا رہا ہے سبحان اللہ thank you very much it was very surreal to listen to such an amazing naat Ali in the morning as well and to be very honest thank you very much Ali Haruni for sharing it with us as well and obviously it kind of purifies your soul whenever you listen to naat and the sole reason why I've said that is that in the first place I think it's always the Holy Book Quran, whenever we read it, it is to purify your soul and it is to kind of have that connection with Allah Almighty, which is why I want to move on to Imran Sandhu Sahab over here. So now Sandhu Sahab, the most understood fact about the Holy Book Quran is, and most of the times I've heard people say it, even Hajjah Sati Sahiba said it, just at the beginning of the program, and that is that whatever kind of thought process you are in, and if you're going to read Quran, you will always have a very different interpretation of what's happening or what should happen, so that's how it is. Do you think that this notion about the Holy Book Quran is absolutely or 100% correct or not? Or do you think that Quran always gives out the same message every time?
نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Keeping in view the topic today, this is a relevant question, that what do you get out of Quran, what do you understand from Quran when you read it, and so Allah says it's hidayah. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And hidayah for whom? Who are muttaqi. And we have already discussed
Taqwa and muttaqi.
The meaning of taqwa. Taqwa is not somebody who has got a special get up. Rather, taqwa is something relative to your intentions when you read Quran.
Or conscience of Allah. This is something which we discussed in the previous year.
The God consciousness. So, taqwa, now the relationship between Ramadan and Quran is also very relevant. So, in Quran itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So, one common factor between and it kind of relates to what Satti Sahiba said, that you understand different notions or different angles of Quran every time you read it. So, and Allah's messenger said that sometimes Quran's one ayah is never actually negating the other ayah. It is the situation that actually correlates over here. When the situation changes, Quran gives you the hidayah from the same ayah in a different perspective. فَأَتَبِرُوا يَا أُولِي الْأَبْصَارِ, as it is said in Quran, O people of knowledge or O people of vision, be relative in your thinking. So, the relativity of the situation correlates with the relativity of your understanding of the situation, and this is how Quran gives you hidayah as well. And some of the ayahs of Quran actually does tafsir of the other ayahs as well. As I said that ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, it is guidance for the muttaqi, and on the other side Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So, taqwa is the common factor of Saum or fasting and Ramadan. The destiny is the same, or the result is the same, that if we, according to Quran, if we keep fasts, we are going to have taqwa, and according to Quran, if we read Quran, we will get hidayah if we are muttaqi. So this month of Ramadan is a month of taqwa, and this book Quran is for muttaqeen.
Right. Wonderful. Imran Santu Sahab, it is said that you should think you belong to truth, but you should not think that the truth belongs to you. So, what is the difference between the two? Is it linked to the Quran?
Well, always philosophical. Hajra is always. So, truth belongs to you, and you don't belong to truth. So, I think what she means is there is a difference between reality and truth. So you belong to truth, like you belong to reality. We've got our realities, right? And all realities are not, all truth may not be reality, but all realities would always be true. This is how we can interpret what Hajra said. Meaning, what you want to perceive, and you think it is true, you can say that it is true that I believe it.
True.
But it is not possible that what you believe is true. Rather, or it's true to believe something, but the reality of that thing may not be right.
Exactly. Or probably I think that the context probably might be, and I will stand corrected if you want to correct me as well, and that is that, that you are the reality, and for whatever you kind of think about might not be the reality. I think that's what it is.
That is it. Like, for example, if a person denies the existence of God, nauzubillah,
Right.
it is true that he is denying the existence of God.
That's not the reality.
But that's not the reality.
True. Which is why, in addition to that, and adding on to how Miss Haj is always very philosophical. And so, sir, there's this one body organ which is always very important, particularly in our religion as well. And Hazrat
Right.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
Sallallahu alaihi
wasallam has
wasallam.
spoken about it. That if that one organ in your body is on the right path, everything's going to be right. God forbid it's not, then nothing's going to be right as well. So imagine that, when we talk about Quran in the first place, they say that dilon ka sukoon is in Quran. And I've always read about it, the Quran talks about it as well. But how do you think that, for all of those individuals who are out there, for all of those people who are watching us today, our Ramadan Pakistan transmission, how do you think we kind of, absorb this information within our own hearts and then kind of make our heart at peace or calm as well? Because I do listen to Quran almost, alhamdulillah, every single day. I try reciting it whenever I get the opportunity as well. But what is that kind of sukoon we are talking about? I think that's something which I'm still looking for, or I'm still searching for as well. Even though I know that my heart is at a good place, alhamdulillah. But how do you think that reciting Quran or reading Quran will actually help you have that peace of heart?
Definitely, it tells you the purpose of life.
True.
And when you are close to the purpose of life, or when you are in the quest of your destiny or your destination,
Ultimate reality.
as you say, the ultimate reality, the subject, the object, and the ultimate reality. Quran, the subject of Quran is hidayah, and whenever you get guidance about anything, about the way you want to go, even if you are on a road and you don't know where you need, you want to reach out to some place and you don't know the way to that place, you ask someone and he'll tell you, you go on right and left and you're going to reach that place. You are going to get some kind of a tranquility, relief, right? So Quran in the same way is guidance, and whenever you are going to get guidance in real terms, and this book actually starts with the word la raib, like it eradicates all kind of doubts in your, in your heart. This is the attribute of Quran, and when you come out of your doubts, you get you feel tranquility and iman. And when it creates iman, iman is followed up by tranquility. So this is why whenever you are going to read Quran, you are going to see your destiny. You are going to be your questions and your questions are going to be answered.
Exactly. And sir, thank you very much for saying that, because we have done a lot of shows together as well, and you know that my questions are multi-tiered as well, and which is why I wanted this answer from you as well, because what happens is that within our own education system or the way we have studied Quran, I think now that I've all grown up, I think that we haven't done it the right way. So there was obviously a Qari Sahib who would always come to my place. We would read Quran in Arabic, and obviously certainly I do not understand Arabic at that point of time as well, so I couldn't really comprehend that what have I read. And I'm totally against this kind of Quran education as well, and it's because of the fact that each and every one of us who's reading Quran really needs to make sure that they understand the meaning of it as well, because otherwise what's the point of reading? Okay, sawab, yes, that Allah has promised us that we will get. Well, what's the point of reading a book if you cannot understand it at all? How do you think we change that system where each and every one of us can understand, rather than just asking somebody, sir, ye ayat padhi hai, maine iska matlab to samjha de mujhe. So there's a lot of confusion, then there's a lot of vibration in your heart, and then your heart is not at peace, and it's just because of the fact that you were reading it, but you never knew what you were reading.
So if you remember that ayah of Quran, وَابْعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. There are four purposes of sending a messenger according to this dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. Four purposes. The job description is fourfolds. The first objective of sending the Quran is tilawah. tilawa is something like, for example, when you read Alif Lam Mim, do you know the meaning of Alif Lam Mim? Nobody knows the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. So there's a message over here, and you get actually sawab of reading Alif Lam Mim, though you do not understand the meaning of Alif Lam Mim.
And thank you very much for saying that. I would want you to continue, but I just remember, and it just popped up in my mind as well, that I once asked my Qari Sahib, what is Alif Lam Mim? And you know what he said? Bete, it's just Alif Lam Mim, so just read Alif Lam Mim. I was like, okay, Alif Lam Mim.
So in one sense, Allah is giving you a message that Alif Lam Mim, only I know the meaning of Alif Lam Mim, you don't know, but because I have sent it, just read it.
Just read it.
And make the starting point, make your intellect go under this book. Try to learn from this book. This is the message, right? So tilawa, this is the first thing. So we should actually say that reading the book even without understanding is beneficial. Then the second stage comes when you have started to understand and recite the book, and normally the age children are going to start reciting the book, they are not intellectually as
Vibrant.
as strong as a 40-year-old or 25-year-old person would be.
True.
So the age of learning the recitation is from 7 years to maybe 11 years.
Okay.
And then slowly but steadily the children become adults, and in this process they start to develop their intellect. Now this is where the second stage comes. Talimul Kitab means you have to understand the meaning of the book.
True.
And then till the age of 25 you are starting to develop intellect, and at the age of 40 you become mature, intellectually very mature. Then wal hikmah, then comes the hikmah, the wisdom behind the book, and then you become practical. You become authoritative in the sense you start getting authorities in the world. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, then Quran also makes tazkiyah nafs, and you start implementing this book into your house, into the society. So you are right in a sense that Quran has not merely come only for reading, but reading is one of the objectives of coming of Quran as well. Because unless or until you start reading, you won't understand the meaning of the book. And when you start understanding the meaning of the book, you will start understanding the wisdom behind the book.
Yeah.
And when you have when all these three things come forth, come into your heart, you start becoming experienced and practical, practicing that book. That is yuzakihim.
Wow,
Right,
wonderful.
right.
And to be very honest, I think this is something for everybody out there as well, that it's a book which is going to give you that code of conduct, and once you
Right.
start to practice that code of conduct, ladies and gentlemen, everything's going to be at peace, and this is for each and every one of us to understand.
And I think Ramadan is also the month of not only listening to Quran, recitation of Quran.
True.
We even read Tiraweeh in Quran. Even this Quran was revealed from from Lawh Mahfuz to the first heaven just in one night, and then slowly revealed.
And which is why, sir, towards the end, for me to understand, I hope that a lot of my viewers would already know this as well. But since you are here, I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity. Why Allah chose Ramadan for the Quran to be revealed upon Prophet Muhammad?
It is not
Sallallahu
only
Alaihi Wasallam.
Quran that was chosen to be revealed in Ramadan.
All right.
Rather, all the other books.
Why even?
And the interesting thing is, do you know what is the difference between Quran and the other books?
What?
So other books, Quran has an additional attribute. The other books, according to ahadith, were also
Zaif.
revealed in Ramadan, and the status of those books are Kitabullah. They were all Kitabullah. But Quran has an additional attribute, it is Kalamullah as well. The other books were revealed to their messengers, but the tabir or the words were the interpretations of the prophets. It was like ahadith qudsiyya. The status of those books were ahadith, and this is Kalamullah and mahfuz. Quran is also mahfuz from getting eradicated from this world. So because it is Kalamullah, so we are lucky to have Quran.
Thank you very much for saying that. But don't you think that that Quran or all of the other holy books were actually revealed in the month of Ramadan means that when we give importance to fasting and when we give importance to the holy month of Ramadan, so that we connect with Quran as well. Do you think that can be the reason why Quran was revealed in the holy month of Ramadan?
Yeah, and that is why I say that we revise whole of the Quran, and this is the Sunnah. Even Jibreel alayhi salam used to come to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the month of Ramadan, and he used to revise from Surah Fatiha to and in the last year of his life before ascending to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it was revised twice to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Ramadan.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you very much, Sandhu Sahab, for being with us. Thank you very much, Ali, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation, and for each and everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, every single day, our motto over here is to make sure that we have a deeper understanding of our religion. And for all of those people who are out there, because it's always good to kind of understand all of those other religions which do exist simultaneously as well, and then it's totally your choice. But to be very honest, I think I feel proud, I feel blessed that I am from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that he will be representing us, all of the moments in Muslims, on the Day of Judgment as well. So please make sure that you make the right decision. With that, we're actually heading out towards a short break. When we come back, we will actually be in conversation with somebody who understood drones very well as well. So we will be talking about that. Let's do that, and how drones can actually help us improve our agriculture sector, and how we can contribute to our economy with the help of drones. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ramadan, Pakistan.
Ramzan, Pakistan. Ramzan, Pakistan.
Book is life. Book is hope. And book is light for the future.
First 10 days of Ramadan are to seek mercy.
O Lord, forgive and have mercy, and you are the best of merciful.
से काम होगा.
Sayings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He who does not respect elders, does not have mercy on children, does not commend what is good, and does not forbid what is evil, is not one of us.
And welcome back. Now, so Shahzad, I think that you should always, grasp wisdom wherever you find it, from whatever place you find it. And as Shahzad talked about, that we're going to be in conversation with someone, who's working on a very different aspect of, drones. And he happens to be Mr. Inamullah Khan, who's also a researcher at King's College London. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for joining us.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity over here to speak in front of the people about drones, specifically about the agriculture industry.
Right, in a very constructive way.
Exactly, and it's likewise. But Sage Pira Khairam, barabar? Jode tagde.
Fine.
Wonderful. So let's get started with the conversation. Obviously this is for the very first time that we will be talking about how drones can contribute to the agriculture and healthcare as well. But before we do that, I think what we really need to establish over here is that for a country where majority of its economy was dependent on agriculture, we haven't really increased our per acre yield, and we were unable to do that because there was no intervention or the technological intervention which has taken place in the last 5 decades or 6 decades or whatever we might probably want to refer to, that'll be honest. And to be very honest, we're still on a tractor, we're still figuring it out whether the front wheels are bigger or the rear wheels are bigger. How do you think you out of the blue had this idea that, hey, drones can actually help us with agriculture and healthcare? With healthcare, we've seen there are surveillance ambulances coming in as well, but how agriculture? And that too with a mini drone?
Yeah. It's a very good question, I will say, but the thing is, drones are contributing in lots of industries, I will say. As far as my research and my findings are concerned, so I will say about that drones are everywhere. Not even in agriculture, not even in medical field, it's everywhere.
Delivery.
Yeah.
Taxis.
And I will say that drones are life-saving nowadays as well. As you earlier discussed about that, drones are in the healthcare industry as well. So moving towards the agriculture industry, as Israel has modernized the smart farming, industrial farming, and each and everything they have modernized quite well, using Internet of Things, using Internet of medical things, I will say. So as far as the things are concerned, each and every knowledge is integrated with it. If I talk about the drip farming they have introduced, it is giving us a very good things in a plantation, in the yielding, in increasing the agriculture farming, I will say. So drip farming can be introduced using drones, and it will smarten the life of the farmers as well. And as far as if I talk about the concerns regarding Pakistani farmers, so I think we have to educate them properly, because if the things are coming specifically about the modern technology, so we should aware them, we should give them awareness about the new and modern technology, because I will say that the modern things are coming everywhere around the world, even in the third world countries as well. Even our government has given some bold step towards that. Specifically, I will talk about the Punjab IT board. They are doing quite well about that. So the things are that we have to educate the farmers and that industry as well.
Thank you very much for saying that, because I believe that it's not just for the farmers to be educated. I think it's for the law enforcing agencies as well. You fly a drone over here in Islamabad, all of a sudden you see 2 cops coming, chasing you. Hey, why are you flying a drone over here? It's a sensitive area. You go somewhere else to fly a drone, all of a sudden there will be more people and be like, hey, you know what, this is a no-fly zone, you cannot fly a drone. How do you think that we educate all of those people within those police stations who merely might know what we are using this technology for and will always be there to hinder so that we do not progress? Because all of that sort of hindrances has always made sure that we are never going to progress as well. Unfortunately, there's this other gentleman, and I've seen his video on YouTube, who make helicopters at his home and in the backyard of his home as well. He flew a helicopter and all of a sudden he was jailed just because of the fact, oh, you didn't have any permission. And that's not for any nation to kind of grow, because we are not giving them the opportunity. People experiment. We do not have research labs over here. We do not have facilities. People want to do their own research and they're not allowed, because those people within the law enforcing agencies do not have any idea about what we are doing, and they would rather label it as a threat to that very particular place as well. How do we do that? Because we need to educate them in the first place. And how do you think that we will benefit from drones and this sort of technology in terms of agriculture and healthcare?
Let me say something about the like the
mindset.
Mindset as well, and I will say that as the things are modernizing, so I will specifically talk about the licensing thing, because if someone is making something, so he or she must have been having a specific license for that. If he is not aware of a licensing thing, like if he is making drones, if he is making so what are our government agencies doing over there?
See,
so
I disagree over here, because I think that the licensing should come in when we start to produce it for commercial purposes. You know, rather when you are in the experimental phase, you know, it's so hard for me to kind of chip in money from my own pocket to make a helicopter work. You know, why do you think I should bother about going to somebody's office and be like, sir, please, मुझे इजाज़त दे दे, मैं helicopter बनाना चाहता हूँ. See, it does not work like this, because we haven't been that part of. Pakistan in particular has never been a part of industrial revolution as well, you know, to be very honest. And, you know, with information and technology, we might jump onto the bandwagon, but it has never happened. So people have no idea about how progressive people or people who are innovators might think, because, you know, for me, if I am innovating somebody, rather than going to somebody and asking for permission, I'd be like, yaar, kar lo, and then we would think about it, you know. So the product needs to come, and then we'll talk about it as well. So we really need to educate those people. But I think I'm drifting away from the topic as of now. Well, let's talk about how drones can actually help us in agriculture and healthcare.
I will must answer that, because like the main thing behind everything is research, and research. And we can only do that through educating people and our youth by giving a very good opportunities in universities, especially as you told earlier that we are having lack of resources and the things. I was also having the same problem, but I did work in these sort of conditions as well, and I made one of the routing protocols specifically for the
I did study about that, but I couldn't understand what that was.
Yeah, because the scientific names and the things are quite difficult to pronounce. So it was a E and TalkNet protocol that I have made in 2020. Like how we are communicating with each other using some specific language. So the drones are also having some specific languages. So I made that algorithm and I made that protocol that drones can also communicate with each other.
Wow.
So if we deploy the same thing over there in agriculture industry, so it will modernize the decision making purposes. Like if we are doing some decision regarding plants, if they are having a flooding of water over there, so there will be a problem. So if the right information will comes to the base station or the right person on time, so he can do whatever you time what he wants. So I will say that drones can modernize agriculture industry, and I will say that as the dripping irrigation, Israel has implemented that, so we have to implement that using drones. Drones are the best. I will say that it can save life. It can be the best part of the in the agriculture industry as well. So I think we have to do lots of research regarding that, and we have to educate our youth specifically about the innovative technologies,
so that the farmers can actually afford to have drones as well. I think we need to work on that, because we really need cheaper solutions. We want the same technology,
but we
want subsidized. Rather, I would want, you know, because, you know, I have, while I was on my way back from US, I actually bought a drone which was this mini as well. It used to do backflips as well. It only costed me $30. So imagine, you know, if we kind of start to work on that, and there are facilities over in Islamabad, there's a university who are actually researching on it and making their own drones as well. All we need to do is that we really need to come into mass production so that we achieve economies of scale as well, and that everybody can utilize it.
Right.
That's true.
And that's a very interesting conversation that we are having right over now. So what is the initial response, you know, that the thing that you're proposing, especially using the drones for the agriculture? Have you talked to the farm? Is it in that stage? Have you talked to the farmers about it?
Did we try it out?
Basically, I'm on my way developing algorithms and like that. So I call myself a cognitive algorithm developer because drones are having many applications and the things. So when you make a technology, when you make an algorithm, you just deploy it over there on a drone, and drone can be everywhere, as I said earlier. So we can use it everywhere.
Yeah.
And as far as the technological things are concerned, so as the things are moving towards the web technologies, so also I will talk that each and everything must have the like the cyber security as well. So drones also need that things as well. And one of my book I will mention recently, which is published in Springer, Switzerland, and I talk specifically about the intrusion detection system regarding drones, which can identify how the attack is coming on the drone, how the things are, so you can like do whatever you want with the drone.
All right, thank you very much for saying that. But let us, make sure that that this technology is going to be safe for each and every one of us, because you certainly did write about that those threats which the drones can be under. So the type of algorithms you are making as of now for your drones to work, do you think those algorithms will prompt you about any cybersecurity threat?
Yeah, I will say that.
Did that ever happen so far?
Lots of cyber threats can happen. Even someone can take out your mobile data. Someone can take out lots of because the coming future warfares will be just on the information and data. I will say. So
that is the money.
Yeah. So I will say that if you are going to save yourself, save your mobile phone, save your laptop. So cyber threats are everywhere. Phishing pages was very common, and each and everything was very common. So as the things are modernizing, I will say that we must have to secure them as well. So security is the best part in drones as well. Exactly. If we are having some high official in a hospital, I will say, and if you are going to have a very firm surveillance over there, and someone is going to give them any poison or like that, so drone can give you the right and accurate information on right time. I will say drones, as I am saying, drones are everywhere. So drones can also be used there in the cricket as well.
We are already using it.
No. We are using in the cricket as well, specifically for filming or like that.
Yeah.
I want that drone can be used as a referee as well.
But I think the drone really needs to come in with a speaker, and we can do that. But we would certainly, would certainly want Aleem Dar Sahab or Ahsan Raza Sahab to be on the pitch as well. Let's not take their jobs away as well. But yes, that's true. That this is very much possible as well. But for people to kind of talk about, I think in COVID times we have developed our trust more onto drones as well, where pizza deliveries are taking place in Dubai. People are traveling from drone taxis from one place to another, and it's very convenient as well. I hope we figure out a way that how we really need to kind of have cheaper solutions for agriculture, so that we can build our economy once again, partially on agriculture as well, because majority of the land over here, ladies and gentlemen, supports agriculture, and we really need to kind of produce. Let's feed the world. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It was wonderful to be in conversation with you. Do you want to say something, Saja Sati?
No, I would just wrap it up and say that, like just Shahzad mentioned, that we have a really negative connotations with the drones attack here in our country, and I hope that we're able to use this technology in a more constructive manner, right? And we have a person who was talking about it, utilizing it in a more healthier manner. That's it for now. So it's a first usher of the Ramadan, and on Monday we will be right back.
Exactly. So ladies and gentlemen, please look after yourselves, and we hope and pray that you're not going to eat too much, once you start to open your iftar as well. So thank you very much for staying tuned. Ramadan Pakistan's team signing off. Allah Hafiz. Look after yourself.
Ramadan Pakistan.